Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Philip Selway, back here again on Finest Hour, finessing my act as a Guy Garvey impersonator. Admittedly, the voice is still a bit wide of the mark, but I can make up for that with a show full of fantastic tunes. Today I've got music from Lone Lady, Teenage Fan Club, Jeremiah J, Spiz Energy, The Staple Singers and Owen Pallett, to name but a few. Also, Beccapedia will be here in a little bit, and later in the show I'll be delving into the archives of Desert Island Discs, so I hope you can stay with me for the next couple of hours. Well, the show opened with the Rolling Stones and Gimme Shelter from their 1969 album, Let It Bleed, and next up is Kim and Kelly Deal and Co. This is The Breeders and Cannonball. Fantastic. That was The Breeders and Cannonball. Now, if, like me, you were raised on the musical delights of the Old Grey Whistle Test, then you've probably been drawn to the 4 pilot episodes recently of All Shook Up, which is a new live music series presented by Six Music's very own Mark Riley. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, then I suggest you go and watch it, because actually it's very, very good music telly indeed. It does all the things that you want. It's got great performances, great bands, and the minimum of chat. So yeah, full marks all round on that one. Anyway, this next song is from an artist that I saw on the show. This is Julie Campbell, aka Lone Lady, and this is a song by her called Hinterland. That was Hinterland by Lone Lady. That's Lone, L-O-N-E, rather than L-O-A-N, although I'm sure that could be a kind of an alternative, lucrative career for her when the music dries up. If the music dries up, of course. As I said earlier, I came across that song on Mark Riley's show, All Shook Up, and here's another track that I came across there. This is from Ian Black's band Slug, and it's the song that is used for the title track of the show, actually. It's called Running to Get Past Your Heart. It's by Slug. That was Mary Clayton and Grandma's Hands. Actually, Mary Clayton was the guest vocalist on the opening track of the show on Gimme Shelter. She did that amazing vocal runs throughout all of that, and my extensive research on Wikipedia has also said that she did backing vocals on Sweet Home Alabama, so there you go. Anyway, that song was written by Bill Withers, and here is the man himself with a song called Use Me. Bill Withers and Use Me. Now, the other day in Radiohead land, we were discussing our favourite tunes of the moment. We were trading our record collections, if you like. It's kind of top trumps with good music. And I have to say, I think Tom actually trumped most of us with this next selection. This is from Jeremiah J, and it's a track called Underworld. Wake Up on a Sunday with Daft. That was Dare Mussolini. And before that was Sylvanesso with HSKT. The Daft track actually really takes me back to when I was a teenager. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. I've got 2 older sisters. And the great thing about that is actually when you're a teenager, you get access to 2 very cool record collections. And I remember my eldest sister, when she went off to university in the early 80s, she'd come back with all these tantalising tracks, which kind of spoke to me of a hedonism of student life as I was sat there watching Blue Peter. Anyway, one of those was the Daft track, and leafing through my vinyl the other day, I discovered that actually I'm probably long overdue on returning the 12-inch of that song to her, so apologies to my sister Karen there. Next up, we have a track from Lacquer. It's a song called Melch, and it's off their current album, Tundra, which is a very fine record. So here it is, Milch. Excellent track and fascinating stuff. And incidentally, there's a new documentary about Nina Simone coming out soon. It's called What Happened, Miss Simone. It's by Liz Garbus, and it's going to be on Netflix. But of course, there are other networks available, listeners. But I'm being told, whilst I've been sat here, that this one is still the best.
The barriers are down.
What an amazing track. That is The Cutter by Echo and the Bunnymen. And actually, that band is one of the big reasons that in the mid-80s I went to do my degree up at Liverpool Polytechnic. Well, that reason and the fact that they were the only higher education establishment that would have me at the time. But anyway, yeah. So that's amazing memories linked up in that song. Next up, I have a track from a band called Spiz Energy. I used to have the 7-inch of this one. It's a song called Where's Captain Kirk? And I remember that when you got to the end of it, if you turned your record player back down to 33 1/3, you would find the hidden message at the end, which was fairly expletive laden, I seem to remember. Anyway, here it is, minus the ending. This is Where's Captain Kirk by Spiz Energy. Janis Joplin, and as she said, Mercedes-Benz. And before that, it was Timadrit in Sahara from Tinawan. Not one if you've got speech impediments, that one. I've been practicing. Anyway, I saw that band actually a couple of weeks ago in Oxford at the Town Hall, and it was an amazing show. Just a bit of a kind of a juxtaposition there, because you have the band Tinawan looking as though it comes straight at you from the Sahara, and there they were in the middle of this very ornate civic building. But as I say, just an incredible show. So next up, we have the Staple Singers, and I'll Take You There. I'll take you there. Fortunately for you, you can't see my dad dancing. Plenty of that going on that track. That was the Staple Singers, and I'll Take You There. Next track is from an artist called Owen Pallett. Now, I played at the Field Day Festival in Victoria Park in London a couple of weeks ago, and Owen Pallett was on before me. It was amazing what he was doing. You know, he does a lot of stuff with looping and his violin, but he just builds up these incredible textures around these great songs. So here he is. This is Owen Pallett with a song called On a Path. The beautiful sounds of Owen Pallett and a song called On a Path. I mentioned that I played after him at Field Day Festival. I was actually sandwiched in between him and Tune Yards, and we all shared a dressing room together. Actually, it was a bit more like a game of sardines, really. But no arguments, and we all got on famously well. That leads me to a song by Tune Yards, and this is Water Fountain. Planet and Teenage Fan Club. That was from their absolutely amazing album, Songs from Northern Britain. And it's an album that when they released, they actually came out on tour with us in Radiohead. So we spent many, many nights being able to watch Teenage Fan Club, which was incredible. Just such a good feel-good thing to do, and really put you in a mood for a show. I'm not sure it put anybody in a good mood at once Radiohead came on. Bit of a contrast, but it was good. We enjoyed it. Next up, have a song from Bunny Wailer. I came across this a couple of weeks ago. It was played on Don Lett's show, Crucial Vinyl, and it sounded amazing. So I thought it was well worth another listen. So here it is. It's a song off an album called Black Heart Man. It was the title track off that record. So here it is. Bunny Wailer and Black Heart Man. It's the Black Heart Man. That was Bunny Wailer and Black Heart Man. Now, for the last half hour of the show, we've still got plenty to come. We've got me delving around in the Desert Island Disc archive, and music from Gang of Four, Pins, Smokey Robinson, so please hang around for that. Anyway, now it's the Six Music News.
Six Music.
That was Young Girls by Pins, label mates of mine on Bella Union. And before that was What We All Want by Gang of Four. Next up, we have John Cale. What can I say about John Cale? So much fantastic music from him, and an icon for me with all work in Velvet Underground. I saw him once at Warwick Arts Centre, and just what a great show that was. Anyway, this is him, and it's a song off his album Fear, and it's called Fear is a Man's Best Friend. John Cale and Fear is a Man's Best Friend. I was talking about my eldest sister earlier on in the show, and I remember once when she took me aside and said to me, you know, a life in rock is really wasted on you. I'd have made a much better job of it. I have to say, fair enough. Which leads me round to this next feature. On the last Radiohead tour, which was back in 2012, I would get myself in the mood for a show by choosing a different castaway from Desert Island Discs to listen to every night, just before we played. Yeah, Hey Rock and Roll. And of course that was just before I bit off the bats' heads, but that aside, this gives me an opportunity today to actually delve back into that archive, and I'm going to play you one of my favourite castaways from this year, a garden designer called Dan Pearson, who joined Kirsty Young back in February. And this is just, it's a lovely episode. He's a man who his language is just so descriptive, and you kind of come out of the episode feeling that you've lived his life with him. He says many great things about the creative process, things that you could apply to kind of any aspect of your life, really. And, well, here he is in his own words.
You had built a little pond.
Manhattan and Ella Fitzgerald, and before that it was the Sonics and Shot Down. So that's almost it from me this afternoon. Next up is a man I did time at Hogwarts with. It is, of course, Jarvis Cocker and his Sunday service. And coming up later on Six Music is Stuart McConey, live from Glastonbury with Paul Weller, The Who, and others. So thank you for listening. I'll leave you with this track now. This is Smokey Robinson and I Second That Emotion.